From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine, and Nick Barris here on a Monday. I hope you had a good weekend. We've got a good show on tap for you, as obviously this is going to be a very busy week, especially a very busy day tomorrow. I'm looking right now. Of course, it's 8 o'clock as this show kicks off every day at 8 o'clock. We are inside 24 hours to when the polling places will open tomorrow here in Tennessee. But I know many of you have already voted for the big election. And, we talk it's the presidential election, of course, but there's much more than just that. I mean, there are many other races involved from the federal level all the way down to the state and local level. And so I invite you to join in the conversation today, wherever you may be living and watching us. And by the way, we are on the Plus right now. You're watching me on News Channel 5 Plus. We also are streaming live on Facebook. If you want to go to your computer or let someone who doesn't have the Plus know they can go on streaming live on Facebook at newschannel5.com. If you'd like to watch the show there, and you can send us comments there that I can share with our guests this morning. Or if you'd like to call in, we'll get the phone number up. And basically this morning, it's just to kind of get a sense of where things stand here in the state of Tennessee and beyond, with two people that are going to be very closely involved in watching how things play out, because they themselves are political animals. And we're going to be very fair. We have a Republican and a Democrat on with us this morning for them to share their thoughts and take your questions and comments. So join us this morning. We have Representative Johnny Garrett, Republican from Goodlettsville, with us. It's good to have him on. He's there lower in the screen with the glasses, in case you don't know him. And above him is Representative John Ray Clemens. He is a Democrat from here in Nashville. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
So let's just start. I'll give you each a chance maybe to just give me your take, as here we are finally, Election Day upon us, tomorrow, and just what you see and how you perceive it going into tomorrow, and then we'll build out of that and take questions and comments. But I imagine to a degree, as you can tell with me, I'm kind of wired, a little excited that this day has finally come. Why don't we start first with you, Representative Garrett?
Well, thank you for having me on this morning, Nick. We really appreciate it. And I think the word that I think of the most about this particular election, and almost any election, is it's going to be unpredictable. It's both from the national level and right here at home. There's just no way to predict these things. All of us look at the stats, look at the polls, and we generally have the same information. It's both from the national level, and so it's going to be an exciting, but I think yet unpredictable night tomorrow.
All right, unpredictable. How about you, Representative Clemens?
Well, I think unpredictable is a fair assessment. I look forward to having a great turnout tomorrow. The election turnout thus far has been incredibly tremendous across the state of Tennessee and the country. I look forward to tomorrow. I think the Tennessee House Democrats are going to have a great day. We're going to pick up seats in the state legislature, and I look forward to electing a new president tomorrow. I think how that turns out and how long the polls and how long it takes to get those ballots counted may be a while, but I look forward to a real change at both the state and the federal level.
And I wonder, when I heard Representative Garrett talk about unpredictable, and to a degree I certainly agree with you both on that, but if there's anything that's kind of predictable in Tennessee, though, isn't it, Representative Clement? I mean, you may pick up some seats, but this is a Republican state, is it not?
Well, it's a Republican-run state. I don't think it's fair to call it a Republican state. I think there's a lot of independent voters across the state of Tennessee. Right now, the way the districts are drawn, you certainly have more Republican-held seats than others, and you got some statewide elected officials. But I tell you, after years of just hypocrisy running rampant through the Republican ranks and a lot of bad policy like vouchers, some tax increases, and the governor fumbling unemployment during this coronavirus, you're going to see a lot of these, several of these seats flip next year, and we'll see a change. I don't think we're going to take back the majority or anything like that, the way these districts are drawn, but we're going to see some positive change here in Tennessee, because the reality is that working families across this state are fed up with it. They've seen the failed leadership, and we're going to continue to make progress here in Tennessee to improve families' lives.
All right, Representative Garrett, go ahead.
I think that, we are a Republican state. We're ran by Republicans because the people elect Republicans to run the state. They like our issues. They come to us because we have a big tent. We want all the folks to realize that Tennessee is a debt-free state for the most part. We make sure that we don't have spending problems, revenue problems. We want to make sure we do work for all the working families. That's why they have voted in over the past 10 years Republicans to Republican governor, a Republican House, and a Republican Senate, not just by a simple majority, but both houses by supermajority. So that says a lot of what Tennessee wants and what Tennessee deserves. And I think that the Republican Party has done a great job ever since we've become in the majority. In fact, from our education system on, from when the Democrats controlled the state of Tennessee for 100 years, they couldn't get anything done. They maintained at the very end, 48th, 49th in our education system. And over the past 10 years, we've improved that by at least 10 or 12 spots in our country. So we have a lot of things to be proud of from our Republican-led legislature. But we also have to remember that probably 95% of the bills that come through the House, that come through the Senate, and the governor ultimately signs is bipartisan. I mean, we do want to have the ability to work for everyone across this state, and I believe Republicans, Democrats can do that. But across the state, for 4 or 5 cities in our largest cities that are Democratic, for the most part, we have Republicans across this state, and there's no doubt that we are a Republican state.
And as being a Republican state, then you can take ownership for better or for worse, I suppose. And just one of the I think, very key issues, maybe foremost among all voters nationwide, is the coronavirus and the pandemic and how you deal with that, everything from treatment to prevention to the economy. Representative Garrett, do you think that the state of Tennessee has been great in handling the coronavirus?
I do. I think that you have our governor who's put a team together that's been exceptional. I mean, has any governor across this state, or even our president, have they done it exactly right? Maybe not. There's an argument to be there. But this is a virus that was unleashed by China. They didn't stop it there. They immediately shut down our borders to make sure that it didn't come here. It did. It eventually got here. But I think the data that we had in early February and early March and late February was simply not accurate. There's millions and millions of people were going to die from this virus, and that simply hasn't happened. I mean, we don't want anyone to perish under any sort of infection or virus or anything like that. And our hearts go out to the families that have, but this has become such a political spitball, so to speak, that we've done some things here that have created an environment that we're going to deal with the virus, but it is here. People need to remember to social distance, if you're not feeling well, don't go out in public. If you're sick, stay home. I mean, things that we would do if there was any sort of illness out there, that we need to take personal responsibility. And I think the governor has been more than open, more than transparent on the press conferences these letting our mayors decide for their particular county, on their particular community, what's best for them, instead of just putting sort of a statewide mandate where Davidson County is a whole lot different than Obion County or a county that's smaller about how they're going to deal with the virus. So I think our governor and our governor's team has done a really good job.
All right, and Representative Clemens, on that front, I'll let you follow up. And yeah, do you think, he talked about a mandate, a statewide mandate, and we know now, the big spikes are happening in these smaller rural counties. Do you think that the governor should have gone with a statewide mandate for masks? And you can elaborate more beyond that on whether or not you think this administration has done a good job responding to COVID-19.
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to laugh at my friend Representative Garrett. This administration has been anything but transparent. Your own news station, Nick, has uncovered a lot of the problems with the lack of transparency throughout this COVID crisis in the state of Tennessee. And not only that, but this governor has been an absolute disaster in responding to the coronavirus. And as Representative Garrett said earlier, we all have the same numbers. The governor's poll numbers are in the tank because of his failure to address this pandemic appropriately. He likes to talk about local control and say it should be up to counties and city mayors with regards to masks, but he has no problem forcing vouchers on local governments. He has no problem putting any other mandates on local government. So again, it's just more Republican hypocrisy out of this administration. But the most important thing is, I've helped over 4,000 individuals personally with unemployment. Here we are, this pandemic started back in March. Here we are, November of 2020, all these months later, And this administration, through its bureaucratic incompetencies, still has not figured out how to make the unemployment system work for Tennessee families. There are working Tennesseans out there who applied for unemployment in March, April, May, June, even last month. They haven't received a dime. That is completely unacceptable. That's a failure of leadership, and it is an inability to lead. It's that inability to lead that is resulting in Tennesseans across this entire state being fed up with all the talk and no action. This coronavirus handling, again, it's been a disaster by this administration. Bless his heart, as much as he tries, he just cannot seem to get anything right. And now you see commissioners jumping ship. You see, you already saw McWhorter, who is head of the pandemic response team, jump ship. It's a fire sale, and everybody's running as fast as they can. It's the same. It's going to happen tomorrow. After Trump gets defeated, you're going to see Republicans running as fast as they can in the other direction.
Listen, we'll continue our back and forth with both of you. We have to take a quick break, but it is amazing, isn't it, as you sit here and you hear these two people with completely different points of view. And, it's how you understand why things are so divided. We'll take a break. When we come back, more from both of the representatives who are good to join us this morning for the full hour. And we also have some phone calls coming in as well as we talk on more of the various topics with regard to the election, which, of course, is now inside 24 hours before the polls open tomorrow. We'll be back with more right after this.